Hello YouTubers, Reloading Bench back with you again, and as you can see we have some blueness. I've highlighted these dies probably a couple months ago when I got them and been too lazy to do anything. Oh god, this hands are raw from all the machining and working in the unisaw, so we will finally take this decap and seating die and we will put it in my Dillon XL750, which started off with an RCBS Power Punch decapping, and we had too much pullback regardless of how I set it on the primer, decapping the primer. And I then moved over to a different, actually it was the RCBS standard resizing and decap die with the standard pin. And then I moved to the Power Punch pin, so replacing the pin, the decapping pin in the RCBS die. And that die, that rod had a spring in it, and that spring would just get hella decompressed. I went through a number of springs, so that didn't work. I then finally moved over to a Lee die, and the problem with the Lee die is the body. The Lee dies, the Dillon tool head is freaking thick. How thick is it? How thick is it, you might ask? It is 7/8 of an inch thick, which is much thicker than a lot of other tool heads I have for other presses. And that's why my Lee dies are my favorite dies, because they've never really failed me. And I wouldn't say that the Lee die has failed me in the Dillon, but I got tired of messing with the degree of teetering, because I'm running out of threads on the Lee die, which I will show you shortly. So when I thought about, someone said, oh, why don't you just get the Dillon die? You should have got the Dillon die. Yeah. Well, during COVID, when I bought my press in February, right before COVID really hit big, so it was just starting to take off in February of 20. So by the time I got everything going with my press, these were like on way backlog, and even through last year, it was like a 9 to 12 month wait from Dillon. Unless, and these are $125 from Dillon, $126, I think, plus shipping and tax and all that good stuff. But, you could find them on eBay for $300, $200 to $300. So I'm like, nah, I'm not in that big a hurry. So I finally picked up a set from Dillon, as you saw a few months ago. And I've just been too lazy to replace the die. So tonight is Unlaziness die, replacement night. So we will be replacing this die, and one of the reasons I wanted to give attention to the 750 was I did a comparison, I think 4 years ago, on my Dillon XL750 versus my Hornady lock and load, and how I had them configured and what I liked and disliked about each one. And those presses and the accessories, dies, bullet feeding, homemade lathing, machining stuff, they've changed over 4 years. So I think what I'm going to do, and this will play into it, is create a how I run my Dillon XL750 in 2024 with another video comparing, well, not really comparing, but how I run my lock and load in 2024, and then maybe a third video of likes and dislikes in 2024 based on how I'm running my Dillon and my Hornady. So maybe a set of 3 different videos, but I thought I would go ahead and replace this decapping die. So that is tonight's goal. More to come. All right, so the camera's like right in the way, but it's the best place so you can see what I'm trying to do. So I have the press on my mobile stand, which is secure to the stand, but the garage floor has a slope to it, and it's going to wiggle, so bear with me. And I'll use my custom made from Etsy tool, because I hate the little plastic wrench, and this will make nice easy use of that. Love it, love it. And then I will pull my powder measure out. Actually, what I should do is just release the springs. But again, the camera's in the way, so it's probably easiest if I just do that. I don't take my powder drop out. I take my tool head out to dump my powder, because the way I have things set up, again, one of the reasons to do how I run my Dillon is I don't have the fail-safe powder bar, because I have other things installed and it would be an issue. All right, back to the bench. So for giggles, we're going to measure, and I will be reusing this lock ring. I like this lock ring. And I did confirm that Lee now uses a hex instead of a Phillips head for these lock rings. And as you can see, I've got this set to like the barely grabbing a thread up top. And it looks like we've got a little bit of rusty occurring. Got some, that's what happens when shit's in the garage and it's steel. About 30 seconds on the buffing wheel would, that too would take care of that. Rust, you just can't do anything about it. Oh, that's loose as hell. So we will compare the body, the thread. So you get about 3, I'm going to do thread to thread. You get about 3 more threads on the Dillon. And the Dillon lock ring is a little thinner as well, but hopefully that won't make a difference. So we will thread this. Clean that off a little. We will thread this. And we have the Dillon instructions. I'm sure it's the same as what's in there. I'm guessing it's going to go pretty darn close to the top. So we will put this back in here for now. I guess there's really no reason to bring the calipers out. You saw there was difference. Three or so threads. All right, so the Dillon instructions for the decap, D prime, pistol decap, blah, 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 floating spring loaded, blah, 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 this floating. Cycle the reloading press so that the tool head and shell plate are in the sizing position. Okay. Screw the pistol die clockwise down until it just touches the shell plate, and then back it out no more than 1/16. Holy, what's 1/16? How many? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-ish. So the equivalent of one of these spacings. That's kind of cool. All right, back over to the press. All right, arranging the camera so I'm actually able to adjust the RAM all the way up. And I'll get a flashlight so that I can peek down in here and see when it touches. Which is kind of funny because it shows the tab, but there's no tab here for for this particular station. Again, I'm doing a funky reach. Camera will probably pick up me heavy breathing or knocking into it, one of the two, or both. Okay, so I'm trying to looky-see. Let me back this off even more too. Even the Dillon die is almost flashlight time. Actually, let me lower the camera 1 second. All right, so there's where I'm trying to get. Until it touches. Again, it'd be a whole lot easier if the camera wasn't here. Okay, so there's a touch. And we'll just say 1/16, no more than 1/16, which is that. And there's no way to get to that screw. Okay. So, what I will do is move the camera out of the way, take this die out so that I can screw that in right where it is, and hopefully succeed at that, and then put it back in and bring you back on camera. And we are back for the maiden voyage. So I will try it with just one initially. So we are tightened down. We are not touching. Like, I think there's the equivalent of a piece of paper. And we will be listening. We have some in here, so we should hear it drop. I have to use two hands because the camera's in the way, so I'll start with my right hand and pick it up with my other right hand. Here we go. Okay, I heard it drop. And we have a weird looking... No, we don't. We have a good looking... All right, so what I will now do is look for, I believe I have a 9mm, not from Dillon though, a 9mm gauge. So we'll do a before and after test. Back in a minute. All right, so we have, and I want to say this is my second one because I bought one and it didn't work so well, and then I bought this lineman and it seemed to work fine. All right, so this is an unsized piece of brass. Doesn't want to go in. What did I do with my sized piece? Here's the sized piece we just did, but since nobody will believe me unless they see it for themselves, we will do it real time. Again, this isn't sized. Pop that in. Looks good. Looking good. All right, so I'm going to call that a success. I'm going to run through off camera this handful just to get a feel for not doing it two-handed in front of the camera and see if it feels like it should feel, normal. Back in a few. And we are back. So I will say success. What is this? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 rounds. Every one of them drop tested fine. I wouldn't have expected anything else. I mean, really, we're not talking rocket science here. It's a resize and a decap, taking it from one shot, which wouldn't fit, to let me pull out another so you can see. Again, one shot that shouldn't fit, to hopefully that fits nice and easy. There we go. All right, so we're going to call that a success. So for all the pundits that said, hey, you should have done the Dillon die from the first get-go, maybe. But, you know, when I look at my setup, you know, decap, resize, tried to make that into one word, one brand. The Dillon powder die came with the press. I'm always going to run an RCBS lockout die, a bullet feeding die. Again, Dillon doesn't make a bullet feeding die to my knowledge, and I'm putting an asterisk there for a non-case / bullet feeding system from Dillon. So when I say bullet feeding die, I meant for my analog solutions like a MagP or the Hornady bullet feeding die. So other bullet feeding dies or the double alpha. And you know what? Maybe whatever Dillon has for a bullet feeding die could work with the MagP, but it's not on MagP's website, so I'm not going to worry about it. And then I have a Resize, seating and crimp all in one, which I don't like because I would rather do a seating and then a separate crimp, which is why I like the idea of the 10 station dies, 10 station presses rather, like a Frankfurt Arsenal FX, but or X10 or whatever the hell they call it now. But I don't know that that's a success, so I think I would wait until Dillon and or Hornady come out with a larger number of station progressive press. But we're going to call this a success, and as I said, this will lead into my 2 videos on how I run, 3 videos, how I run my lock and load, how I run my XL750 in 2024, and then what I like and don't like, comparing both of them in their 2024 configurations. So some videos coming out soon. Later.